Whether it's in Canada, the United States, or Mexico, the World Cup will be all you hear about this upcoming year. The World Cup is one of the biggest global sensations of the year, and it is something that everybody will be seeing because it will unite many different fans from across the world. It'll captivate billions while also bringing many different cultures together as the month lasts. Now, we're taking a deeper dive into what the World Cup entails and what it will look like for the future. With this, we'll be taking a dive into the deep history of the World Cup, some of the key teams and players, and finally, what the future and structure looks like for the next World Cup. Now, the World Cup is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sporting event in the world, but it all started somewhere, just like everything else. Going all the way back to 1930, the World Cup has been around for nearly 100 years and is still one of the biggest global sensations that we know of. The World Cup has taken place every 4 years, besides World War II, for everything going on. But besides that, it may be compared to the Olympics for their similarities, but the World Cup is reserved only for the best soccer players in the competing countries trying to win it all for their pride in their country. Now with this, according to Mindy Johnston, the World Cup was originally called the Jules Rimet Trophy from around 1930 to 1970, but was eventually settled down in Brazil, and the trophy that we know of today, the World Cup, was created for the competition. And with this, the World Cup was originally started in Uruguay, with the first tournament taking place there, and only 13 countries participating at the time. But ever since that, it has grown quite a bit, with 48 countries competing in this 2026 World Cup, which is the most in the tournament's history. And with this, many countries have competed and fought over trying to secure a spot to host the tournament. But now with this, we're actually having our first ever co-hosted tournament with 3 different countries, like stated earlier, with Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Now, with this long history and all these different tournaments, you may think that many different teams from across the globe have won the tournament, but that would be wrong. In the time that the World Cup has been around, there has only been 8 countries to have won the tournament. And with this, many teams have risen to the top and solidified themselves as one of the best teams in the World Cup. Now, stated by Mutonga Kamu, Brazil is definitely the top team in the World Cup, having won 5 out of the 22 past tournaments and solidifying themselves as one of the best teams, with some of their best players being known as Ronaldinho and Neymar Jr. But a team to also look out for is Germany. Germany is an offensive team known for their strong presence and always having a good run in the tournaments. And some of their best players being Toni Kroos and Franz Beckenbauer. They're definitely a team to look out for when the whistles blow. But a team that you could see that rivals them is Italy. Italy is a more defensive-minded team and also has a pretty strong presence in the tournament, and you should definitely look out for them, for they have some of the best players that we've seen in history, with Paolo Maldini and Gianluigi Buffon. Now with this, they're all teams to definitely watch out for, stated by Mutongo Kamo, and competing with many other countries like said before. Now, as we move on, we want to know about what the future entails for the World Cup. Well, in the past, the World Cup has been held in one set country, with around 32 countries competing in a set bracket of 8 groups of 4. But with the new 48 teams qualifying this year, it would definitely look a lot different, and you would need to know what's going on. Now, in the 2026 World Cup, stated by Brian Gainsinger, there will be 12 groups of 4, and instead of just taking the top 2 teams from each group and advancing to the normal bracket, they will also be taking the top 8 third-place finishers from each group, which is creating an unprecedented group of knockout and creating a lot more drama and making it much more fun to watch in the end. But with this, you may wonder, where will all these games take place? Well, with there being 104 different games taking place over the next span of June 11th to July 19th, it will be co-hosted, like I said earlier, and split up evenly between the 3 countries of Mexico, the United States, and Canada. It will definitely be something to look out for as we move on. It is not quite decided where the stadiums will be, but we do know that it has been split up, with Mexico holding Group A, Canada holding Group B, and then the United States holding Group D. And as time goes on, it will eventually become more organized and more split up into whoever's going where. But with this, we are coming to our end, and as the final whistle blows, we can begin celebrating for we have made it to the final. But before we begin, let's take a little recap of what we went over. Today, we have gone over what the World Cup entails, what the future will look like for it with the deep history, some of the key teams and players, and finally, what the future and format of the World Cup will look like. But just remember, this is a massive event that has way more to it than what we'll see today, and it will still be part of billions of cultures. Thank you.